Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. What are you laughing for? I just cleared my throat before we went on the air. Well, I do it when I'm supposed to do it, right before we go on the air.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
that
sorry I
was
had to do
meant.
that. Next time when I dial, I'll hit the mute button. It's like,
I thought
I'm
it was
back. I'm good.
excellent.
At least I
How
made
are
you
you?
laugh to start the show. Good, man.
Fucking
Actually,
right.
you know, I've been trying to think how we've been getting along. Well, how we've been getting along. We haven't talked much in the last couple of days, but that's not true. You've done some great job getting us some new exciting things going on, and wow, man, it seems like Sunday night we don't have a lot to talk about when we left Humberstone, and in the last 24 hours things have really blown up. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Connor turned 16 years old today. That's kind of crazy. I can't believe that. So, I'm good.
Yeah, it seems like I met you when you weren't too far off 16, and now here you got a 16-year-old of your own.
No
He's a good
kidding.
kid, man. He's huge. I can't imagine what your grocery bill's like. A quick story about Daddy's money as Greg bestowed him from the iRacing world. We'll talk a bit about iRacing coming up. The first Humberstone race, we ordered a slab pizza for the crew, and Connor was one of our gophers for the day, so he's hanging out with me in the infield. And we get down the infield, he goes, man, I ate like half that pizza. I said, Connor, that's for the crew, man. You're supposed to get one piece or go get your own at the snack bar. So when we went to Flambeau next week, he said, hey, one piece till everybody gets to eat and then go to town. So, and then Sunday at Humberstones, we're leaving. There was half a pizza left. And I'm like, Connor, he goes, you sure, man? I'm like, yeah, just eat it up, buddy. But no, it was pretty good. So let's jump into a lot of the topics we got. Of course, if you're joining us here, we appreciate your input. We certainly want to hear what you want to talk about. Your comments and questions and input is greatly appreciated. It's live and interactive here, and we want to talk with you. So send out your info. Anything you guys want to talk about, it's on our list. We'll be glad to throw our opinions out there. Operation Green Flag. Go ahead.
You always remind me about those old infomercials. Like at late night, they were on every channel. Talk about whatever you want. These girls are waiting for you.
We were talking about something the other day, and someone said, well, what are we going to do for 2 minutes on the intermission? I said, don't worry. Spencer will play a Dr. Hose commercial, and we'll be fine. Because last year on MAV TV, it seemed like we could have recited the Dr. Ho commercials by ourselves.
Oh, man. They were
You know what?
painfully long.
Quick joke. I've been an Amazon fiend since this whole COVID deal started, and I bought this neck jacket. And if you remind me next week, I'll get it. Christine pisses her pants when I put it on. It's one of those Dr. Ho things that jacks your neck up, and I'm all getting smothered. It's interesting. But anyway, let's talk about Operation Green Flag. It's been
Yeah.
super successful. When we started about 2 months ago planning the first race with Dave Bittner at Humberstone, it bloomed out to Merrittville and Flamborough as well. We had great events on them at both those places and Humberstone as well, where we were just back Sunday. It was great. Adam, I thought things were great. We still have 2 more races to go in the 7-race series. Merrittville got rained out on Saturday, and we also have Brighton coming up. So first, your thoughts on just the overall Operation Green Flag, how it went. I mean, I think we're fairly happy with the product we put out so far.
You know, it's hard to be really, it's easy to be really proud of what we've done, but it's hard to sit back and enjoy it when so many people have paid such a great price. I mean, we're doing what we need to do this year to try to get people racing and to try to be a part of that, to try to present that to a crowd at home. So, you know what I mean? I'm so proud of our team, what everyone's been able to accomplish. Yet I'm so wishing we could get back to what normal was and have everyone out to the racetrack. But given what we've had to work with, and given the rules are a little bit different here in Ontario than they are in some other places, I think that everyone's done a really nice job of making the sacrifices they need, getting out there, and really we started off with 6 races, and what are we at now? We're at 12 anyhow.
Well, we haven't really discussed our. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to jump ahead. First
Yep.
off, let's go back to talking about Brighton. First off, that's the first thing on the rundown. I think why we set up this way was so we could just talk about Brighton. We mentioned it on last week's show. Pretty cool that all those guys are going to get some love with us on GeForce TV. Great to show off Brighton Speedway. So if you're a Brighton Speedway driver and you've not registered already, reach out to Ange and the crew at Brighton and make sure you get your registration paid, fill out the forms. They're doing a great job. Adam, she immediately had a Google sheet prepared with transponder number, sponsor, all the stuff we talked about, what you would need, and that came out the next morning. So Ange doing a great job with that. But that'll be Brighton Speedway. It'll be the mini stocks and comp fours, the Thunder stocks, the Canadian modifieds, and the late models at Brighton. And that's going to be a super fun show for us. I know for Greg, myself, and you, as we mentioned many times, Brighton's a place that we all love. And I know you throw jabs back and forth with Ange, but it's a great spot. We've been kind of the announcing team there, not all together, but on a rotating basis for the past 3 seasons now, I think it's been. So we do spend about 5 nights each there. I love it. Even Greg, when we talked today, he said, Applefest, I've been committed to that all along. So great to see that they are going to come on board. Your thoughts on going to Brighton with our crew?
You know what? I wish I could answer you, but I'm reading Jay Dalton's comment at the same. Okay, Brighton Speedway is going to be a ton of fun, and I think it's going to be a very well watched, well received event because there's so many people that have heard a lot about Brighton Speedway and just not been there. You know what I mean? It's Brighton gets huge crowds. Like they've got so much local support. It's fantastic, and I think racers flock there when they get the opportunity. But I think fans haven't quite been convinced to travel from the Niagara Horseshoe to head down to Brighton Speedway. Otherwise, the place would overflow. There's just not enough seats. So I think they're really going to enjoy the show. I think once they see it, they're going to make sure to add it to their calendar because you just don't get bad races there, Clint.
Yeah, so that'll be what was originally going to be race number 7. I guess it'll slot in at position number 6 now. And that's Saturday, July 25th. So we're off this weekend. Nothing going on in G-Force this weekend, as it's actually most of the crew, Spencer and the Wizards and everybody, are going away for the weekend. So I think you and I are going to take that time to get some relaxation going on. And then that brings us back the next night. We're going to be right back with a dirt doubleheader. Sunday, July 26th, we'll be at Merrittville. That's the rain date that Don Spee said would work best for him with the traveling cars that are coming in for that race. So we're happy to travel back down the 401 back to Merrittville on Sunday night. And Spencer, throw up the pictures of the rain that Merrittville got Saturday morning, if you've got them there. And that is just coming in the pit gate, Adam. And that is Lake Merrittville. If you know where that is a solid 2 feet deep right there. And that is going. There were a couple more picks, Spencer. Feel free to run through them. Adam, look at that deluge of water. That is a river right through the pit area. So for anybody who said they probably could have got it going, I live in St. Catharines too, and look, the whole place just underwater.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I had my doubts, Clinton. Saturday evening here at home, it was beautiful. And I thought, man, I think they could have stuck it out. But from all I've heard, no, it was the right call to cancel it. And we got lucky Sunday night. The drive home Sunday night after the races, it was soaked. And I'm not long, like 15 minutes down the road from Humberstone, we were driving on wet roads.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. Christine asked me, she said, hey, did you guys get wet? And I said, no. She said, it poured here 20 minutes away in St. Catharines. Yeah, and back to Saturday night, it did. It rained. It was just a crappy, drizzly night. It would have been a shit night at the races, for sure. And when you're getting the 360s out for one of their only or rare appearances so far this year, you want to make sure it's right. So hopefully the weather will play nice. A week from this Sunday, it'll be Sunday, July 26th. So if you're sticking with us, make sure you mark those nights down. Both are 7 p.m. starts, and that will be Saturday, July 25th at Brighton, Sunday, July 26th at Merrittville. So
you see my mug, buddy? You admire this mug? 1994 Oktoberfest Grand Prix.
How old were
Not
you
the
then?
Oktoberfest that you would remember, where you would have hauled down there to drink, but the Waterloo
I know
Regional
what
Kart
you're
Club
talking about.
Oktoberfest. I was 19. I was 19 in October of 94.
And you probably still weren't drinking then, were you?
Not really.
I know.
Not
I'll
on
carry
race
the
day.
party. I'll haul the party train for us. Don't worry about it.
You do a great job.
Hey, I've been good for a long time. I'm getting old. Mission Humberstone recap. So that takes us to Sunday night of Humberstone, where we were. We had some extra special media guests out with us. Jerry Abramowitz from Motorsport Alley has been creating these videos. Spencer, run that video that Jerry sent over if you can. And this is just a bit of a recap, some of the imagery from Sunday night. And also, when this is done, feel free to run any of the clips we've got, maybe the ending clip or anything special you have packed away, Adam. But I love to see the drone shot. I mean, it always makes everything look so cool. But Jerry's done a great job for us the past few events. He's come out, helped us out at Flamborough here and Humberstone. And, the imagery is just great. It's even on a Monday morning, gets you excited about what you just got to experience the night before.
Oh, for sure. The different looks, the like I say, the effort people are putting in. I mean, all these events, we're getting ace photographers out to all of them, right? Like all of the big names have been coming out to this stuff, taking amazing shots. The Thompsons, the Derek Smiths, Dave Frank's been to the Flamborough ones, Jerry Abraham. I don't want to leave people out because obviously Dale Callan travels with us, takes some awesome shots. But do you know what I mean? Quite often you'll go to events and, some people have to be here and some people have to be there. We're pretty lucky. They're all coming to all these events. So we're getting the best possible exposure for these races by the best media people out there.
Yeah, it's great to have them all help us out and feed us some of this imagery too. To be able to get Jerry's drone shots into the live broadcast was super cool as well. It was
now Spencer. I'm gonna cut you off, Spencer. When this video finishes playing, can you put up from GeForce TV? Put up the comment. Oh, actually, I think it's on Facebook. The comment from Theo Curvin, if you don't mind, because he says things that are really kind, but I've got some things to say about the program and how that goes.
Look at that sky. That's one thing. Humberstone and Schweeken, man, just the way those tracks are positioned over turn 3 and 4, it's just amazing. Some great on-car. Now let's talk about track conditions, Adam. It was a dusty night there. The late models came out, and I think everybody in the park was cringing a little bit to see everybody come together. So that's the end of Jerry's video. This is our and I'm so shocked at how good Daniel and Spencer are. They put this video together, of course, as the race is happening. This is our end credit reel, if you will, highlights that go on at the end of all our live broadcasts. And within minutes of all this stuff happening, they've got a highlight reel together, which always shocks me because it would take me 2 hours. It's like you writing a press release. I'll start today and finish on Thursday. You whip one out in 5 minutes. But some great action, great field of late models, Adam, from all over the province. The sportsmen were great. We'll talk about the redraw and the lineup systems that I think we both can discuss here, and I'll bring some other thoughts to it. But great field in all classes. I think the production came off fairly well. The issue we struggle with there from the technical side is, the network isn't as strong there. So we have to dumb down our signal going out. And then when you add the dust to it a bit and the autofocus on the cameras, at some points it made it a bit difficult. And that's why we run the asphalt races in the daytime, so we don't have those issues. But look at some of the imagery here. Just amazing stuff. I was quite happy with how the program came out. Super proud that most of the cars got through it without any major damage, and the track did come back around. It just seemed like the late models really kicked up the dust to start off the night, and then after that, it was really good racing, I thought.
It did settle down, and the racing was excellent. For some reason, we kept getting to the end of the races just as the battle was intensifying. You know what I mean? It's almost like every race needed to be 5 or 10 laps longer than they were. To allow
it's funny
them
you say that. Mike Bowman messaged me the same thing. He said, how come the race couldn't be 25? Why only 20? We were just getting going then. And I said, hey, we'll take it under consideration, going forward for the crate sprints anyways.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the promoter mentality of more divisions. Something's got to give. Who knows? Sometimes people would get out front and walk away, and you think, God, that race was 50 laps. It only needed to be 20 laps. But in hindsight, this was a tough break for Justin Sharp when he spun off the end of turn 1 and nobody saw him for 2 laps.
Well, you know what?
I didn't.
They did see him. They thought he was going, and they left him there. And Sharpie wasn't too happy. Zach Ferry came up and apologized to him and said, hey, I might have made a mistake there. It was my first night, and for some reason, they thought he was going to get going, or he was waiting for a yellow or something. But, yeah, it was funny because as I was driving in, I did see Sharp on his way out, walking out of the pits with a lone beer by himself. I said, oh, tough break, Sharpie, because he's in my beer-drinking clan where we hang out over at T-Max, and Sharp's there quite a bit. So, tough to see that go on for those guys. Let's talk about Brad Rouse. Adam, you were immediately chirping
throw up.
me. me during text, via text during the race, saying no more freaking redraws. This is bogus. So the choice is heads up or redraw, or do something that we don't normally do on the dirt, but is a common thing on the pavement, which is just a straight up invert, right? And if you're going to do it, that might be the best way. Take your heads up lineup and invert 12 or 10 or whatever you want to do. But, both races, Rouse redrew the pole that we went to. And, he's the guy that could probably start
And
from the
good,
parking
and
lot and still get it done. So it sucks for the fans. And I saw you
it was a
commented back to Theo.
Yeah, it was a great show to watch Chad Chevalier come up through. Did you get that comment up, Spencer? Were you able to put up Theo's comment? Very nice that Rouse Motorsports wants to say thank you for all the hard work that everyone puts in, to the sponsors and the tracks for letting us come out and play. And I was tongue-in-cheek saying, you know what, Brad Rouse is not starting any closer to the front than 20th if we do any more of these races. But it is luck of the draw with the redraw. So to me, the redraw lost its luster 20 years ago, maybe more. I just think it's
How do you propose
been
we
there,
do it
done
then?
that. Either an
And
invert or heads up.
okay, so let me just say it a couple of ways. There's different tracks where different things are going to work, obviously, right? So, for example, I grew up announcing at Humberstone and Merrittville with the modifieds and sportsmen. And the system we use at Brighton Speedway, which is passing points with redraw, I just don't think would be the best show you could get there, because we've gotten used to it. And let's face it, the 35 lap race at Merrittville, when in the core of my announcement, when Pete Bicknell and those guys were dominant, the battle was, could Pete make it from 19th to first in 35 laps? It was more of a race of time as he was working his way through the field, and most weeks it was a perfect calculation. He was either just getting there or he had just gotten there when they got to lap 35. It made for a great show. Now, if you start Bicknell in the top three positions in those glory days, the show's just going to stink at Merrittville. And somehow for the sprint car world, we've gotten away with the redraw, and it hasn't really stunk things up. But if you can't have handicapping, obviously you want to have. So your suggestion is invert or heads up?
I'm okay with heads up, and I'll tell
Okay,
you why. You put Chad Chevalier up there, Brad Rouse, Adam Leslie, Jay Mallory, Greg Panante. These guys all had good cars. And in the feature, they all sort of came on and fell off at different times. And let's, James Michael Friesen, I'm not listing all of the heavy hitters. There's nothing wrong with putting them in order at the front. I'll tell you one thing, it'll make the heat races a hell of a lot more fun to watch. If they know that every spot they gain in the heat is 3 spots closer to the front, they're going to start in the feature. Because I would have enjoyed just that battle that Chad Chevalier was going to have with Brad Rouse if he could have got there, would have been fantastic. And he started, what, 10th? So heads
I
up,
thought he was a lot
it doesn't
deeper
need
than
to be.
that.
Might have been, but either way, he came a long way. I don't think a heads up needs to be as dirty a term as you think. It's not like there's
No,
examples of people that would just stomp the field, but I don't think Dirt Sportsman is one of them.
yeah, I don't disagree, because I think at a place like Humberstone, you're going to get to traffic, and that's where the battle begins again, right? So, all in all, great racing. Kudos to Dave Bittner and his staff for getting it off. As he mentioned to us in the intro of the show, they had 6 feet between every trailer, and they don't think they probably could have put one more trailer in there. So, it was just a all around good show. That takes us to our next setup, which is our next deal that we're very proud of. The APC series is coming to geforcetvnet. Adam, you worked very diligently with Luke Ramsey, and we exchanged emails since about mid of last week to figure out what we can do. Very proud that we can work with the APC series, which is one of the best late model series in North America, well respected, especially here in Canada and Ontario. And we're excited to get together with them. Your thoughts on the series that they put together, Spencer? If you've got the slide of the races in the schedule, feel free to put that up for us. But excited to be part of that deal.
Absolutely excited. I mean, that series is where it's at for asphalt racing, right? I mean, it gets all the big names in Ontario in terms of asphalt racing. They run a great program. The series looks good. I mean, everything about it is the way you want to be presented. The fact that Luke Ramsey and his team were interested in working with us, Clinton, is just super exciting to me. I can't wait to do these races. I love dirt racing, Clint, but I love asphalt as more. I almost feel sometimes like I have to be ashamed to say no, because everyone, dirt's so much better. They go 5 wide through the corners. I love asphalt racing just as much. So I want to bring that excitement to that product. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jamie Maudsley's going to be involved with us, the announcer for the APC series. So he'll have a role in that as well. But it's going to be you and me and Greg on the call, just like it's been for all the G-Force events. I can't wait.
Yeah, great to get the series up and running. Spencer, throw the schedule back up. Let's just talk about that quickly, Adam. Doubleheader to kick off the deal at Jukasa, Saturday the 8th. We were talking offline. Spencer and I were talking offline with Greg Calnan. We don't have times yet, but I'm assuming one in the day, one in the night. Is that how you see that going for the first doubleheader at Jukasa?
Hard to say. They need a lot of
Yeah.
time to get through tech. I just don't know. I have no idea how it's going to be set up. That's part of the excitement, right? They've got to design these shows to make them work in the current conditions, and we're just there to call the action once it happens. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fantastic.
Then we move off to Sauble. I'm excited to get up to the beach. I know that's a good little bull ring. I've got to do some NASCAR stuff there in the past. And for our crew, that's going to suit our equipment and the way we are with the runs we like to run. So excited to get to Sauble again. I think we're going to make a weekend of that and have some fun enjoying Sauble. And then back to Flamborough. Not back to Flamborough this year, but we get to go back to Flamborough Saturday, September 12th. And then the final round will be at Jukasa on Saturday, September 26th. So I'm excited to be able to bring those amazing races to you. If you've not caught the APC series, check it out. First race will be coming up start of August. So that's going to be really cool. We'll have some more news about that.
You know what's also going to be fun about this, Clint, is the elements that'll get thrown into the APC race. I mean, they've got a team of graphic designers, and I mean, they've got a lot of things behind them that I think can make this show look fantastic. Even their partners, I mean, like Spectra Premium, they've got TV-ready commercials on the go. You know what I mean? They're just these are real players that we're going to deal with. Corporate, we're heading to the corporate world, so I think I hope we can show as well as I think we can. I know the team's capable.
Speaking of the corporate world, I see Mike Schmidt just commented, Flamborough Speedway APC Pro Late Model Race will be the London Recreational Racing 100. So great. Thanks for getting on board, Mike, and supporting the series. You were one of the guys who stepped up to get the first Flamborough event going, and that's appreciated for sure. So once again, congrats, Mike, on getting that done. Flamborough Speedway will host the APC Pro Late Model Race, and it'll be the London Recreational Racing 100. So we'll be happy to bring you that to you. Again, that's live for free here on GeForce TV. All the broadcasts we've done so far, feel free to go back and look at them. If you don't know where to find it, it's geforcetvnet. And it'll take you to our YouTube channel where you can find all the programming, watch back on demand at any time and at your own leisure. So anything else you want to add about the APC series coming to GeForce TV? I think we covered most of it, Adam.
Yeah, I think we have it. I'm pumped up to do it. We've got people disputing you, saying it's one of the better late model series in North America, but I say it absolutely is. Series is a big difference than special events. You look at the Snowball Derby. I don't consider Speed Weeks a series. It's just an extended vacation where people race a lot. There's a lot of big one-off events at a lot of different places that carry a lot of prestige. But to run a series is a different animal. And to run it well, yeah, I definitely think I would put the APC series up against just about any series out there. Sure, they have bad days, but everybody does. You take a group of racers to Sunset and Flamborough and Sauble and Peterborough and tell me you're not going to have some miscues. You're going to, absolutely going to. But as a series, what APC has done, Luke Ramsey's vision, top notch.
100%. First race coming up August 8th. Make sure you check that out. Moving on to another thing that's near and dear to our heart. Adam, Stuart Friesen posted a picture today from his shop. Spencer, throw that up if you've got it. It was iRacing was there to scan the big block modifieds, Adam. And how exciting is that for guys like you and I who grew up with the modifieds? Weed Sport is just being released, and now to have the Northeast modifieds. I think maybe the guys at iRacing knew the Northeast was getting screwed by the government up here, both sides of the border, that we say, hey, let's throw those guys a bone so they have something to do for the next 10 months. But super cool that they're out scanning the big block modifieds. There's leagues coming out the door. I can't see how there won't be a Rivalz Racing League modified division here. Well, we're going to announce it right now. There will be a Rivalz Racing League modified division. I'm almost certain of that. But wow, super
You know
cool.
what? I want to challenge our brothers down at Dirt Track Digest too. Rivalz can put together a better race team than you bozos can. We're not allowed to cross the border, but we can battle across the border. I'm saying it right now. Border wars.
Super cool to have that. I can't wait. I haven't been on my iRacing rig in months. I think, if you could see the graph from end of March through April through June, and it probably dropped right off now. The playership, just, I'm still paying my monthly fees, but I haven't touched the steering wheel in a while. But, I think as soon as they drop that, it's going to go crazy, and all the Northeast will buy it. The one thing we had talked about was working on getting them up here, and that's still in the works. So, Connor, happy birthday. iRacing's giving you modifieds for your birthday, buddy. So there you go. Let's jump over to the Burger Barn video of the week, Adam. And when I saw this, it just made me think of you, man, because you love wrestling. I love a good scrap at the races, as long as it's not one I have to officiate or referee. But when I can watch it from down south, and I don't even know where this race was, and that's terrible journalism. We probably should have figured it out, but it was on the internet, so it had to be real, right? But throw it up there. Do you want to tee it up, or you just want to watch it and comment after?
Just watch it.
All right, throw it up, Spencer. Now play it a couple more times, Spencer. A bit of a tussle ensues, but it was the first. Just look at the drop. Oh! Now, we're certainly not condoning violence at the races, but it is going to... Look at the height on him there.
That's Jimmy Superfly Snuka action there.
He looks like Tony Hawk, like he's doing a grab with the skateboard there over the half pipe.
Yeah.
But, okay, a couple things come to mind here. Was it his first time ever at a race car? Has he ever worked on one of those cars? Not because the damage he's going to do to the car, but they're fiberglass and aluminum with solid iron underneath it. And unless you got hockey equipment on, I wouldn't want to be doing that jump into the plastic hood and the roof with all the roll cage and the motor and all the air. Man, that had to have left a mark under the fire suit, no?
If you're going to do this stuff, you have to stick the landing. Show it again, Spencer. If you wind up on the ground on your back, you did not execute your move very well.
Well, did he get pulled off onto the back?
No, just watch.
Yeah, he got attacked there.
So what? Then he should have made the hood his stopping point and then jumped off into a full body press.
I'll give you that.
That was poorly planned. That's why wrestlers have managers.
So the maneuver was only half executed, is what you're saying. It needed another boot and a landing to be official.
Don't be throwing half-cooked wrestling bullshit into the show. If you're going to do it, full cook.
Oh, my goodness. All right. That moves us on to the SRX Series. Big news coming out of the States yesterday. Tony Stewart and a bunch of big partners, two of them corporate, and the one we'll know was Ray Evernham, who jumped into this deal. They're talking about a 6-race series at some of the famous tracks, short tracks in the States. And it's going to be in a 2-hour package made for CBS. Ray Evernham is going to build the cars, and then oversee the construction of the cars. Then the other thing is 12 drivers will be randomly paired with crew chiefs for each event. And it came out today in a lot more articles. It's basically a reboot of the IROC series. And that was great, Adam. If you're too young to remember, it took the best drivers from all the racing disciplines, put them together in equally prepared IROC Camaros, and they raced at all the big tracks and on the major weekends. So, first off, Adam, I'll let you tee it up. Your thoughts on what you read so far about the series?
It looks awesome. I love that they're not trying to go out and compete with NASCAR. They're building a product that'll stand on its own two legs, not looking at it's this or that. This is what we have to offer. We think you're going to like it. Come watch it. I love the format for the races are 45 minutes. There's not even mention of laps anywhere there because laps don't
Yeah,
matter. They've got a time slot to fill.
that's interesting. We've done that in the past at some of our bigger races at Oshweekend, for example, when we needed a 10-minute break for the Outlaw Show, we did run a 10-minute timed race. I mean, road racing's done it for years. I think it's exciting, and it'll be a neat shakeup. A couple concerns I have about it that make it hard not to get excited, but I'd be super pumped. 12 cars isn't very many. That's my biggest concern. When you put those cars out on a big track with only 12 cars, how much passing is going to go on? How much are they going to get strung out? Mark Rinaldi said it before. There's you need enough cars where you have meaningful passing after a long green flag run, and I'm not convinced you're going to have this after 45 minutes of running. Are they all just going to be strung out? So I'm sure they've thought of it. I'm sure there's a couple wrinkles that haven't been announced yet, but that's my initial concern. The other question is, what kind of cars are they going to race? Everybody seems to think it's going to rival NASCAR and be a late model. I have not seen anything firmly announced. Have you?
No, but you want my opinion? It's going to be a sexy looking street stock.
I think it's going to be more like a sexy looking Silver Crown type USAC modern sprint car for pavement and dirt type looking thing. I really do.
Hey, mark this point. Mark this point in the show. I think it's going to be a stock car, and I think it's going to be dumbed down, lots of power, not a lot of tire. Clint's going with more of an open wheel thought.
Yeah. I just tend to think if Evernham's building it, I get the impression for some reason. I don't know. I just think it's going to be old school, open wheel, open cockpit, something cool like that. With street stock tires and probably that same kind of stuff. But I do think it's going to be open. We'll see what happens. Excited to see it happen. And, anytime our sport gets a new injection of blood, I mean, it takes me back to when you and I went to the big announcement for, oh shit, now. Was it the ISA? Yeah, International Speedway Alliance. Is that what it was going to be?
I don't know, but I know a fan was going to win $1 million every race. In some sort of the concept wasn't terrible.
No, I loved it, and the idea was to rival NASCAR at the time, and which is now the NASCAR Pinty Series. It would race on a lot of midweek races live on TSN at the time. Man, that what would have cost for that press release we went to back then? I mean, it was pretty splashy at Ontario Place, and all the media was there. It was quite the deal, but it never got off the ground.
I think that's likely why they ran out of money. How much would it have cost to get Matt
because of the press release? They ran out of money.
Well, look who they flew up to attend.
Yeah,
right. Those NASCAR guys don't travel for free.
I can't even remember.
You pay them good money for a day of their time. So there was local talent, but there were also some big names there to lend their support, and it just sputtered.
Greg Boydell says Legends cars. I say barf in my mouth if that's the case.
Greg is wrong too. Greg is mistaken. I'm telling you, it's gonna be stock type cars. They're gonna have to look like something people could recognize and get excited about.
If anybody knows what they're talking about, and has proved it many times, it's Dusty Deborah. And his latest comment says Evernham is still involved in vintage sports car racing. I'd guess something along those lines for a car type. Interesting.
A lot of those guys are doing the vintage rallies these days.
Okay, so let's put that out there then. Feel free to comment. What kind of cars do you think they're going to race in this new SRX series that's been announced? We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. We'll get into glowing NASCAR, and then I want to talk about what's gone on in Ontario, a little bit about New York, and then we'll open up for everybody else. So, glowing NASCAR. Spencer, you showed us the picture last week. You brought it to our attention. Undercar neon for the cars at the All-Star race at Bristol. What are your thoughts, Adam? I'm okay with it. I mean, the All Star race is a gimmick filled deal, anyways. If you're gonna try something out, that's the place to try it. It'll look cool at Bristol. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't care. Like, to me, whatever.
Come
Do
on,
it, don't do it.
that's like when you ask what kind of shirts we want to buy, and then I tell you I don't care. You give me shit because you say that's not an answer. You got to have an opinion.
It's a non-issue. Lights under the cars, I don't care. Flip them upside down. I want to see the lights. If
Yeah,
they're
and you're
not
probably the
upside
guy.
down, I don't care. I don't care what's glowing underneath them, right? There's enough lights and sparks that come out the bottom of a race car. But I mean, if it turns somebody on, then good. Um, maybe if it appeals to kids, I don't know what appeals to kids, right? Like, put a cell phone holder up on the dashboard, because the kids I know can't look away from them for very long. I mean, what do you do? Yeah, lights under the
Mike,
cars is not.
here's my
Now,
concern.
numbers on the
Go ahead.
quarter panels, badass. Love it. Love it.
Really?
The cars, every because they're going to look so different than what you're used to. Um, it took me a couple of races to get used to it, but I really, really started to enjoy it. It just made perfect sense to me.
Oh man, Rob Pitt's comments not for printing, but if you're following along, feel free to read it. Here's my concern, Adam. Now's not the time for gimmicks, NASCAR. You screwed with your sport enough, right? Just get it right. Just throw the green flag, throw the checkered flag, keep your political mouth shut, and let's go racing. That's my opinion. They're grasping way too much, and their credibility slips more and more. What's up with Jimmy Johnson? COVID? Not COVID? The rest of the world's got to take 14 days off. Now he's back in. What a crock of shit. Like, what is it? What's the deal there? You know, that makes everybody say, so was it a ploy for attention? Like, just their credibility with
No,
the hardcore
no, it
fans
wasn't.
is bad.
No, it wasn't, because you're not going to take one of your most storied drivers ever and have him sit out one of the biggest races of the final year of his career. So I don't think it was a hoax or a gimmick, but I think the non-explanation of him coming back was really, really weird. They should have at least cooked a story to tell us as to how
Yeah.
that's possible.
And that's kind of my point. If and that's one thing we learned here locally. If we don't tell a story, they're going to make up their own story. So you're better off just to tell the truth and get the real facts out there, because either A, people are going to make up their own, and I think that's the problem here. There's been so much, I don't know, just drivel coming out from that deal lately that you don't know what to believe. You don't know what's a gimmick. And it's the same thing with
You know
media.
what?
It's the same thing with the virus. Can we please just have a black and white answer on any issue one day of the week, please?
I'll tell
That's
you
all I
one
want.
thing, though, Clint. The racing has been really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a casual fan in years past. I did not watch more races than I did watch. I've tuned in this year. I've enjoyed the racing. I've found it really good.
You did not
So I
watch more
mean,
races than you did watch. I'm still trying to make that one up in my head.
there were times when I wanted to watch every NASCAR race. I'd record them and watch them later on if I couldn't watch them live. Anymore, I miss a race, no big deal. I'll hear about what happened. You know what I mean? But when the racing
Yeah,
is as good as it has been, I'll watch.
I try and catch most of the truck races when I can. I really enjoy the truck races, but I'm with you. The Cup's been really good this season. A lot of great, exciting stories. The racing's been awesome. A lot different without the fans, but still, let's just keep racing, please. So anything else you want to talk about NASCAR wise?
Robert Burr makes an interesting point, saying dirt racing is starting to overtake NASCAR. And I would argue that it always did. NASCAR appealed to the masses. Let's be real here, folks. Short track racing, Osteen Speedway, whatever your local track is, you don't want it to get as big as NASCAR. You want it to be successful in its own right, but you don't wish for things. Be careful what you wish for, because things get to a certain point in a certain size where they're just unmanageable. So I don't think dirt racing took over NASCAR, but I think a lot of people are willing to say these days, and I've been to Daytona when the backstretch grandstand was absolutely full and I couldn't get a ticket. Those days are over. But there's more and
Yep.
more events where people are flocking to Charlotte for the World Finals, flocking to Knoxville in numbers never seen before to watch the Knoxville Nationals, right? So there's a lot of these events, and asphalt has some good ones too. Let's not knock that, but I think people are starting to appreciate more. Look, I can take a third of the money I would have spent going to Daytona for the 500, and I could go to 3 huge races for full weekends and have a great time, and living it up.
You're not wrong, buddy. A couple things that come up across. I seen Paul Clager jump in here. I just want to jump back to the crate sprints for a second. They have been invited to the Brockville race this weekend. If you're around, make sure you go down and check that out. It's or online, I should say, and I believe they're allowing the first 100 fans in. So we'll talk about that. But the crate sprints are having their first big race at Brockville. I know Brett Stratford, Jacob Dykstra, and I think Lucas Smith are talking about going down. Those are the first 3 drivers from the Action Sprint Tour that have committed to head down to Brockville for Saturday's race. I believe it's airing on one of the stream services. I don't have it offhand. I think it might be 360 Nitro, or maybe it's not airing at all. I'm not sure. I'll have to find that out and try and get back to you on that. Let's talk quickly about Ontario. So we were all waiting on Monday. I was on a call with Mark Rinaldi, who viewers of this program know as the promoter of Brighton Speedway. He's also been sort of our ambassador and motorsports in Ontario's representative when it comes to dealing with sports and tourism in the ministry here in the Ontario government. I sat on the call on Friday, and some of the notes we took from it is they were super impressed. And I don't know if I've got my notes here from the other day or not, but and member of Parliament, I believe it's David Piccini, they mentioned was a huge asset to everybody that is trying to get things going here in Ontario. So if you are in member of provincial parliament, David Piccini's riding, make sure you are voting for this guy. He's been a huge advocate of motorsports in Ontario and getting the fans back. So the announcement came out Monday. We were hoping to get to possibly 50 or 80% fans. We got a big slap in the face as motorsports. So let's talk about that, Adam, and what that means, because I've spoken to probably 5 different promoters today alone talking about what that means for us in the last 48 hours. So what you're going to find is the tracks have been basically where we've been now. We can continue to race with no fans, and they've allowed us to go up to 100 fans with contact tracing, mandatory masks, and a bunch of other restrictions. Well, what that means for the promoters is it's almost not worth the money it's going to be invested in staff and setup and getting everything done just to handle those 100 fans, all the work you're going to have to do. So it doesn't effectively change anything for the promoters here in Ontario. And I think that's a big misconception among the racers. So one of the promoters I talked to today, I said, what's your plan for racing? You're going to keep going the way you were holding events? And he said, no. He said, the racers seem to think that now that we can have 100 fans back, they're not willing to pay the $250. They think it's too expensive to keep going. And we're getting a major pushback from that because they figure there's all this gravy now in the stands with 100 fans. But that's not the case at all. And he's actually thinking about holding off on doing more races because it just doesn't make any sense. And I think for a lot of promoters, this might have taken the final breath of air out of their sail for the season. I've been in emails with over 30 of the other tracks, and more than a few of them have said this is it. They were waiting and hoping to get something going. As we get farther into this, and it doesn't look like we're getting closer, the border's still closed now for another 30 days or so. You're still going to have to quarantine after that. It doesn't change anything for us. In fact, it probably makes it more difficult because you're going to have to pick which fans you want to let in if you want to, which is, are you gouging them to make money? Are you having a lottery to make it fair? Are you doing like some tracks are where they're just saying the first 100 come, which is terrible business because you're going to get pounded and have a riot at the gate? So many great things that could happen, but they didn't on Monday, Adam. And I think that's a big disappointment to all the promoters. So I just wanted to clarify that from the promoter side. The announcement Monday was a huge blow, probably the biggest blow we've had all year because we were hoping so much to get good news. And in fact, it wasn't the news we wanted. It probably caused the promoters here in Ontario more problems than good. So what are your thoughts on that? Yes, it sucks, but
My thoughts are unpopular. My thoughts are our government is doing a very good job of handling this situation. Um, like I said, people won't like that's my personal thought. Seeing what's happening in places in the U.S. and that some of them are getting to the point where Italy was, where you can call an ambulance and the ambulance will ask you what's going on and say, "Well, we're not coming to get you because there's nowhere to take you anyhow." This is serious, and even if people don't want to believe it, when your hospitals fill up, it's not about you dying, Clinton. It's not about me dying, because we probably won't. But when our hospitals get filled up to the point where they cannot take anyone else, or when there's no, it's a bad scene. And I'm proud to be Canadian right now. This sucks. This really, really sucks. But I think as a whole, it's being handled fairly well.
I just want to address some of the questions that have come up. So, Dusty Deborah says, can you tell the government each section is a separate gathering so each section could have 100 people? Well, no. They made it very clear. Each facility is an entire facility. You get your people in there. You can't play monkey games like saying this section is that or put a fence between this or that. So that is not a deal. The other thing is, did the government not say to put a plan together and they would look at it for more fans in the stands? Well, that's exactly what we did. The 30 tracks got together and promoters put together a detailed plan on what would be. The MPPs we were on the phone with and the Ministry of Tourism on Friday, they said the plan looked good. I mean, Mark's not going to go out and lead everybody on thinking that we're going to have something that we're not just because that's what he wanted to say. They definitely gave the impression that it was going to go that way. So we did. We prepared a plan and they didn't take it. Mike Cura says should be 30% capacity like churches. I don't disagree. For a lot of us, we explained to them we have a ton of square footage. Some of the other points that we spoke about on Friday with the government was that most of our places are overbuilt. Look at Flamborough. It can hold 7,000 people on a great day if it was packed. But on a regular Saturday, he doesn't even need 15% of that. And same thing with Oshweekend. We're
No.
overbuilt.
And if you had 30% of 7,000, which is 2,100 people, you couldn't control it. Right? It's not like a church that holds 200 people and you can say, okay, we're going to use 30% of our capacity. You sit there, you sit there. You can
But wait a
control
minute,
people
Adam.
coming and going.
I don't want to disagree with you on whether you can control it or not. I'll disagree with you on the churches. Indoor churches, they've said 30%. I don't think they've capped that at a number. So if I'm Joel Osteen and I got 17,000 people in my congregation at Cops Coliseum in Hamilton, can he put 12,000 people there? It didn't say
Joel
that.
Osteen's in the U.S. They can be together rubbing on each other. They can lick each other's cheeks down there, and nobody says a word.
We're talking.
That's
Okay,
what I mean.
So
There is no Canadian Joel Osteen.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
How do you know that? How do you know there? I'll argue with you on this. I don't have to name him. You name the guy. You show me your proof that there isn't someone like that. I'm saying there probably is, and maybe not that big. Okay, listen, maybe not 18,000
Okay, now
people,
you're changing your story.
No, the point of the
there's
matter
not many.
was you picked on one shitty detail that it was in the States, and now you're trying to stand on that bullshit point. The point of the matter is a religious place here in Canada doesn't have a limit on what they can do. It's only 30%. And it doesn't say 30% cap. Now, what we wanted was square footage per person, meaning if you've got if you can have 6 square feet per person or whatever the number the government determined to be across our grandstands to make the numbers where it could be with a cap at 1,000 or 2,000. I'll give you a real story. Here, the beach in my municipality up the road from me, they're capping it at 2,000 people every week, every day on that beach. They're letting 2,000 people on a beach that's smaller than the infield at our Brighton Speedway. If that isn't the biggest crock of shit by the government, I don't know what it is.
Is it a good idea?
Doesn't matter. It's allowed. And if you're worried about it, stay the hell home. Wear your mask or stay home and watch it on GeForce for free if you don't want to come. Nobody's forcing race fans to go to the races. Nobody's forcing you to go outside. If you're worrisome, hide in your little basement and don't ever leave your house again. That's your prerogative too. So me and my friends, we want to go to the races
so far.
What's that?
How many of the rallies have you been to so far?
What's that got to do with anything? I don't believe in the rallies or any of their bullshit.
You sound crazy.
I am crazy. You know that. But me and my
Our
crazy friends, there's a
ancestors
lot of
fought
us.
for our freedom so we can
That's right.
allow
So you
old
can
people
stay
to
home.
die because we need to go to a car race.
Ooh. This is a discussion for another day because we can go political all day long. You're on one side, I'm on the other. You know, I'm just saying, you know, if they're letting everything else go, churches, how about this? Ontario parks run by the exact same government that's restricting it. You know what their capacity is at their campgrounds and their places? 80% right now. They're having thousands of people in the same spots we are, yet they're crippling our industry. It's bullshit. And you know what? Hey, if they're shutting everything down, I'm cool with that. If no churches, but what's fair is fair. They're picking and choosing when industries can go because you
Don't,
pray to God. You know what?
but don't
We
be
pray
that
to the
guy.
racing
Don't be that
gods.
guy. Don't be
I
that
am
guy.
that guy.
Well, they get to
What
do
guy?
it. They get to do it. It's a bad idea.
It's called standing up for your rights.
Exactly. That's what's happening south of the border. Look how that's going. The best interview I saw on TV was a lady saying she needed to get to her hairdresser. It was her constitutional right to get her hair done. Like, really? Really?
I'm not saying it's your constitutional right. I'm just saying there is a lot of
Okay, let's do
bullshit in the
this.
world, and you don't know what to
Let's
believe.
let's let's use my wife's stepmother who died from COVID.
No, no, I'm not going to allow you to go
It
there. You can't make it personal because I can't argue with that. That's bullshit.
totally make well, here's the deal. She did not go out. She did not go somewhere in a huge crowd to contract COVID. COVID came to her house. So the point is, it's not about people going out. It's about the third party who's totally innocent, but because someone needed to go to a grocery store the day after they went to a car race and someone else is going into a grocery store who is susceptible to that sort of thing, and they come home to a person who's being responsible, not even going to the grocery store, and they happen to touch something that the other person touches or breathe on someone, because that's what I'm saying. And it's easy to say, and that's why I opened this conversation. This is not bullshit. Why I opened the conversation with, you and I are probably not going to die from this, but people do. Real people, not fictitious numbers on a TV screen, on a news broadcast, but real people who didn't do anything wrong.
I'll give you that. But grocery stores are still
And
open.
that's right.
Thousands of people go there every day. The banks are open. Thousands of people go there every day. I had to take Kansas glasses last week. There's people walking around the mall. Give me a break, man. What a bunch of bullshit. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. It's got nothing to do with going to races. If you don't want to get it, stay home, stay quarantined, do your own thing, man. And I'm not just fighting for racing. This is just political crap in general. Where's our rights and freedoms? You're right. Our ancestors
Where were
fought for
you?
this, not for this garbage.
Where were you the last 90 seconds? The part where I was talking. Like, it
Didn't
just
make any
completely
sense.
rebutted what you had to say. Yet you go right back to what you had to say because it's your right. Our ancestors didn't kill us. They killed other people from other countries to give us our freedom. Yet we're using that freedom to kill people in our own country, the people who made us, the seniors. That's, like I said, I know it's an unpopular belief, but it's not wrong. It's not untrue.
I just want to say my argument is not racing related. It's world related. It's the same shit. They're picking and choosing what businesses they want allowed to do their thing. If it's really a serious problem, then shut it all down. No
Oh, I think
churches,
we're
no
doing it.
beaches, no nothing. No, it's not. And people are getting pissed off. They're letting shit go here and not over here. It's just not right. So I'm going to catch COVID at a race, but I'm not going to catch it at the grocery store or a protest or whatever else you want. I don't know. We're supposed to be talking racing, and so we should probably get back to that. I love you, Adam. You know that. You're on one side of the
Oh, I
political
know.
fence. I'm on the other.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
you're a believer in it.
we've been
I'm
going
not.
to
It is what it is.
we've been going to the races, Clint, and I've been enjoying it. And I think we've done it. The races we've been to have been fairly responsible with a few little um, mishaps, but we should not be filling the places up. We're almost to the point where we could, folks. Yeah, mark my words. Mark, I got a fan on Facebook. That's good. Um, watch what's going to go on in different places, and then watch what's going to go on in Canada. We are going to be much better before other people are going to be much better. 2020 is a terrible year. Not enjoying 2020. But 2021 is going to be better for us than it'll be for a lot of other people.
I'll let you stand on that. There's still so much. Whatever. Where are we going to talk about? Speaking about that, okay, look at me. I don't wear masks. I don't like wearing masks. What did I do at every race we've been at? I'm doing my part. I don't like it. That's what I had to tell the Action Sprint Tour guys on Saturday or Sunday at Humberstone. Sorry. Look at guys. I don't love to wear the mask either, but here at the racetrack, it's what we got to do. If you want to race sprint cars, you got to wear a Hans device. I'm sure you don't like it, and it's probably not comfortable, but that's what you got to do if you want to be in the sport. And if that's what it takes to get us out there, we've got to go out and do it. So that's one thing. The government did tell us.
Don't get me wrong, Clint.
Anything going forward, it's going to be mask and contact tracing.
Yeah, be clear, Clint. We're part of the people that are helping racing to happen. So I'm just saying things can't be. And the concept of saying 2,000 people in Flamborough Speedway is silly because it's been a while. The concept of saying 30% of the crowd at Ashweekend, because that doesn't happen on a weekly basis. Things could be done. It could work. In the meantime, you work with what we've got going on, and it's not going too badly.
No, I mean, it's been a crappy season for sure. I mean, I can't believe how fast it's gone by. We start booking these pavement races from now through the end of September, and I'm actually surprised how far we are into the season already and how fast we're going to be out of it. It's always a spirited discussion. I think you and I need to plan a political racing chat on one night, and we can just argue about all our views and have a good old fashioned dual airbags, knock them out, scrap. But no, man, I love Twitch's comment. He says, "Stop fighting. We don't want Christmases. 2 Christmases when you guys get divorced."
A good debate is awesome. I'm all for it. And like I said, I don't like what I have to say. It just is what it is. But
Gary, hi.
Yeah, we haven't played,
and I sell trucks.
We haven't played my commercial on this show. What the hell's up with that? Did I not pay my bill?
No, you only got on the G-Force commercials. That was pretty good. Spencer, you can close us out with the Adam commercial now. I think we covered it all. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, Wesley Shaw, great help to us. Don't forget, as he mentioned, Rev TV tonight, Operation Green Flag starts in 1 minute on Rev TV Canada, formerly Mav TV. So get over there and check that out. If you have heard enough of us, you can just shut her down. But if not, go there and check it out. Proud to get everybody up on Rev. Spencer, do you know what broadcast it is? Is it? I'm totally lost. I think it's the Flamborough race, right? Okay. Flamborough it is. So excited about that, and we love you too, Gary. Anyways, we'll wrap it up. Play the Adam Ross commercial, and we'll see you next week here on Race Rivals Chat. And don't forget, this weekend we're off, but Dirt Doubleheader coming up July 25th, 26th, Brighton and Merrittville Speedway. In the meantime, catch up on all the Operation Green Flag races. They're up for your viewing pleasure on demand 24/7 at your own leisure. Thanks, Spencer, for everything you do. Thanks for arguing with me, Adam.
Absolutely. Folks, if you watch Operation Green Flag tonight and you find that you're missing some of the racing that you thought you were going to be watching, just head to geforcetvnet. Bring up the full program is available there.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Here's Adam Ross's commercial.
I'm Adam Ross, and I sell Hino trucks. If you need a commercial truck, or if you work for a company that needs a commercial truck, email me, aross@mtg.ca. I'm a sales rep for Metro Truck Group, and I sell Hino trucks.